This is a code walkthrough for the example file Array1DMethodUsage.java. This file demonstrates using arrays as method inputs and outputs. So in the main client part of this code, what we're doing is we're setting up two parallel arrays for hourly rates and employee IDs, and we're setting up two of each type of array, each of different lengths. And notice that we're using that special form of setting up an array where we can combine the declaration, instantiation, and initialization all into one statement using the values we want as a comma-separated list inside curly braces. So what this code is doing is it's printing the employee IDs and hourly rates before and after we give everybody a 10% raise. We're accomplishing this work by setting up a couple of methods to offload some of the computations, and those methods are called print workers and give raise, and they appear off here on the bottom of this page, and we'll scroll up and see those in a moment. So many of these inputs and outputs are arrays themselves. For example, the employee IDs and hourly rates are array inputs. Here the hourly rates are an array, and the output of this method is also an array. So we're updating this array and writing back over the original values. So as always, let's start by compiling the code, and let's free run it and scroll up a little bit and look at these results. So for example, scroll down a little bit here. Here are the data for the set of 3 workers and the set of 5 workers, their IDs and their initial rates. Then we give everybody a 10% raise and then print the salaries after that, and we can see, for example, that this $10 was increased 10% to $11. This $11 per hour was increased by 10% to $12.10. So this is what the output is going to look like, and all this is done with these two methods. So let's clear this output and make this window a little bit bigger and look at the methods. For example, here's the print workers method. It's going to accept an output string as a title, so that would be this argument here, an array of integers for the employee IDs, so that would be this array here, and also an array of doubles, which would be this array here. So notice that when we specify the interface, we specify the data type of the array in this fashion with square brackets, and then when we provide the argument on the calling client side, we simply provide the names of the arrays directly without any square braces. So inside this method, we simply loop over the length of one of the arrays, and we print out the IDs and the hourly rates, and we format it using this string format specifier, and we want to have 3 decimal places for the ID, and we want to command 2 decimal places for the hourly rate. So this method here, let's run this again, produces this kind of output right here. So we're going to do that 4 times. So we'll write the code once and simply use it with 4 different sets of data. Then this other method for give raise takes as its input an array of doubles. So this is that array of doubles, and it takes a scalar double for the percentage. So that would be this value right here. And then what it does is, again, it loops through the length of the array and applies that 10% raise to the value of the array, and then writes that array back to the caller. It passes it back as a double array. So what's happening here is that this code right here is directly manipulating this double array hourly rates back here in the client. Normally, if we were writing a class that was intended to be used as a reusable software component, this would violate all kinds of rules of encapsulation. But in this context, because these methods exist within the confines of this class and are solely intended to offload some of the work from some calling client, this is really no problem at all in this context. So let's give ourselves a little bit of room here, and let's run through this one more time a little slower with the debugger. So I'll set a breakpoint on main and I'll start single stepping. And so we set up our 4 arrays in our scalar, and I'll just expand these so that we can see these arrays, an array of doubles and an array of ints. Then we're going to step into this one and we will print the title, and then we're going to loop through this array, and we're printing 2 array elements for each record according to this specific data format. And then we'll come back and do the same thing for the other set of data. Then we're going to give those raises. So I'll step into that. And again, we pass in 2 arrays, and these arrays are known as wages and, well, actually it's only 1 array for this one. So we're going to loop through that array, and for each element we're going to update it by the requisite 10%. So we're going to update this one by 10%, by 10%, and again by 10%. And you can now see why we want to have that format specifier when we do some calculations to limit things to 2 decimal places. But now we'll return this updated array called wages, and it will write over this array here, and it's already done that. So we'll do the same thing for this set of hourly rates. We've updated all the salaries, and now we're simply printing out the updated values. So again, this example shows how to pass arrays into and out of methods. In the interfaces, refer to the arrays as arrays using square brackets, but where you want to call those from some client, simply provide the name of an array directly. Okay? But other than that, it's no different from using methods for any other purpose.